Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Path of Exiles 2. Today I want to talk about a really ridiculously good Act 1 build for the Sorcerer. But before we get into it, I'm giving away some gold, 350 gold to be exact. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment telling me what your favorite class is and build and all the skills you use, because I'm still trying to make some great builds to carry me through the game. So if you didn't know, I am playing this game through Act 1 on all different characters, trying out all different things rather than just jumping straight to the end of the game, because I prefer to just try everything and see what I like best. And today we're looking at the Sorcerer, because the Sorcerer surprised me immensely. Honestly, haven't had so much fun on a character in this game, haven't felt so strong on this game as I do when I'm using my Sorcerer. So let's have a look first and foremost at the gear I ended up with at the end of Act 1. So we start with our staff. Now I wanted the staff with the fire bolts move in general. I would like a higher than level 3, but I'm just going to keep this staff until I get something dramatically better, because I've got gain 14% of damage as extra lightning damage, 27% increased spell damage, 27 to mana, 8 to intelligence, and I get health back on killing enemies. That is everything that I need and want in a weapon. Let's look at the rings. So we have add 1 to 4 physical damage to attacks, 35 to maximum life, increased rarity of items found, which is great, 9 to intelligence, 4 mana back every kill. So I'm getting health and mana back every kill. The other ring is add 2 to 4 fire damage to attacks, which, you know, I'm using mostly fire, as you're going to see. More increased rarity of items and 2.2 life regeneration per second. Again, more healing. For the amulet, we have an increased mana regeneration rate of 23%, 5% increased spell damage, 13 to maximum life, and 9% increased cast speed. I would like a bit more cast speed on this build, to be honest, but all in all, so far, everything I need and want. For the chest piece, we have the rune that has fire resistance of 12%. We have plus 13 to evasion rating, plus 17% increased evasion rating, so I'm getting a lot of evasion, plus 18 to maximum life, plus 7% to fire resistance, and 1.7 life regeneration per second. Again, more healing. Then we have the gloves, which has 12 to armor, 7 to maximum energy shield, 13 to accuracy, 15 to maximum mana, gain 2 mana per enemy killed. Then for the belt, we have 24% increased life recovery from flask, which is great, 1.9 life regeneration per second, plus 10 to stun threshold, which I don't think I really need, but you know, I haven't found anything better yet for a belt, and 1 to 3 physical thorns damage, which I don't really care about either. So I could do with a better belt. For the boots, we have 25 to maximum life, plus 5 to strength, plus 10% to cold resistance, and 2.7 life regeneration per second. So I got a lot of healing going on, a lot of self-healing. So we have the Innsmouth Shabby Hood, which has increased armor, evasion, and energy shield thanks to the rune, 25% reduced maximum mana, but 100% increased mana regeneration rate. So I'm never running out of mana with this. And then I get plus 18% to cold resistance and plus 18% to chaos resistance. It's not the best unique in the game, but I'll take it right now for what I'm trying to build with this character. And then I've got a topaz charm on, which, you know, is just a topaz charm. I love this character. So what are we using in terms of moves? So we have Firebolt as our main attack through our staff, and with it we have the Ignition Gem. So support skills have 100% more chance to ignite, which is fantastic. Ignite is just basically things blowing up, in layman's terms. Then for the second gem, we have Controlled Destruction. Supported skills deal 30% more damage with hits and ailments. Supported skills cannot deal critical hits. This can be, you know, removed if you like. Personally, I think it just adds to the build, because with hits and ailments, you know, ignite, I'm going to do more damage, except I don't get critical hits. However, generally, more consistently, I'm getting more damage, and that's great. I'm using Spark, but usually I don't really throw it out. I don't really use it. It's just there. Next up, we have Flame Wall, which I absolutely love. This is one of my favorite moves, and I have with the gem Fortress, making it into a circle, which basically, if you tie it together with the Ice Nova, which we're going to talk about, you could drop this fire around someone and then hit them with Ice Nova to be able to freeze them, and then they'll burn to death. So a lot of the fights you don't even need to take. You just drop Flame Wall, drop Ice Nova, and we're sorted. I love it. Then we have Ice Nova. So with Ice Nova, we have Unleash. Supported spells gain a seal every 200% of cast time to a maximum of 2 seals. Supported seals are unsealed when cast and their effects reoccur for each seal lost. So basically, it's double Ice Nova, with the second one dealing slightly less damage. However, you can still have a chance of freezing enemies because it's hitting them twice, which is great. Then we have Glaciation, which is supported skills called 50% more freeze buildup. So hopefully with the double hits and that, you'll be able to freeze them and then burn them down very, very quickly. I have Frost Bomb, but I never use it. I just think it's a pointless move. It's just there until I find something better. Orb of Storms is another one that I drop on top of my Frost Nova and my Firewall, especially if it's like a boss or something. It just does good lightning damage, and it can chain as well. So support skills chain +1 times. It's just a good way of just adding to the AoE damage you can do, rather than the concentrated AoE damage of Ice Nova and Flame Wall. But Orb of Storms, it just happens. I don't think about doing it. I do think about doing Flame Wall and Ice Nova. Then we have Raging Spirits, which I got from the King of the Mists, I believe. While active, your fire spells will also summon Raging Spirits. Every time I activate any kind of fire, I will get these little skulls that go and attack people. So it's just extra damage, and it's heat seeking as well, which is fantastic. I want to get some gems in here. I just haven't had anything drop for me since I got this. Then we have Incinerate, which is essentially just a flamethrower. And with that, with the gems, we have magnified effects. Support skills have 40% more area of effect. This burns down enemies quickly, and it also creates Raging Spirits very quickly. So these damages together can be phenomenal. I also have just got Ember Fusillade, which, you know, you just charge up a whole bunch of fire spirits and then they attack the enemy. I haven't really used it that much because I've just got it towards the end of Act 1, but it does go together with this fire build that I'm looking at. So let's look at the passives. So this was while I was doing Act 1. I'm probably going to change it up a little bit now, but I'm going spell damage, as anybody should if they're doing spell attacks, all the way up to this section here, where you then get to choose either fire, cold, or lightning. I went with all three because I was dropping all three, including the orb, but now I feel I might get rid of the lightning damage side of it and save the 2 slots for another section. I like having the increased cold damage and the freeze build up for the Nova, and then obviously fire because most of my spells are fire. Took some strength up here, took some strength, and then we're going to continue down here to get more spell damage, and that pretty much is my Act 1 build. I haven't really truly looked at where I'm going next in this build in terms of the skill tree, but for right now this is just, I think, if you're going to play Sorcerer or you want to try out Sorcerer, I think this is an incredible build, so try it out. So this build for me is the first time in this game when I felt like something is broken and overpowered. I burn down enemies so quickly, and any enemies that gather up on top of me in a big group, I can just freeze them still, leave my firewall to take them all out while I continue fighting other enemies. Then you have the Fusillade new move that I've just got, you know, with the Raging Spirits. You can just create so many different things to fly at the enemy and kill them. It's incredible. The Fusillade, obviously, you know, it locks onto one enemy, so if you charge up several of the things, the projectiles, it's going to all hit the initial enemy. So it is really good for boss damage or like yellow bar damage. It's a fast way to get a big chunk of health off people, but if you always charge it when you're going into a fight, you're always going to start that fight ahead with an advantage because you're going to nuke one of the enemies. Then usually I freeze people, drop the wall, use my flamethrower attack to take down as much as I can while the Raging Spirits do their job. It just feels like a ridiculously good, strong build all around. The only one downside for me, which obviously if it's so powerful it needs a downside, is that I feel slow while I'm casting, slow moving, not slow animation, not slow cast speed, but like for instance when you hold the flamethrower and you walk around, it just feels like you don't have much maneuverability. So it's lucky that you can kind of spin on the spot and do as much damage to as many things as you can, but the issue being that if you don't move often, you will get beat up and hurt by a lot of enemies. So it really is a payoff of the amount of damage you can do with the flamethrower to being hit very, very hard. If you can, always Ice Nova first and then use your flamethrower, but for the most part I just feel like this is like a 9 out of 10 build. If there was a little bit more maneuverability during casting, I think it would be just unbelievably broken, and it shouldn't be that broken. But it is the one thing that kind of irks me about the build. However, everything else I've done with this, I just feel free, I feel strong, I feel like I have confidence going into every fight, especially big boss fights. You know, other classes I've kind of been like, oh god, I'm gonna have to play the long game here. I'm gonna have to, you know, keep dodging, keep moving, get a little hit in, do some more moving, do some more dodging. But with this, I just feel like I can stand toe to toe with a lot of the bosses. Obviously I still need to dodge, but it just feels ridiculously powerful, and I cannot wait to see how this develops in Act 2. So I am almost close to doing all classes through Act 1, and then I'm gonna just choose a class and I'm gonna level it all the way up, get to Act 3, get to endgame, and start making some videos on stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you think my class should be as I'm leveling up. What should I use to get to Act 3? Thank you for watching. I've been Easy. You guys have been awesome.